The Right Pricing Part 3. Promotional Pricing. Promotional pricing. Also, there are many ways of creating promotional pricing. Usually, a promotional rate is bound to a specific condition. For example, the rate is non-refundable, only bookable up to X amount of days prior to arrival, only available when booking a specific day of the week or for a minimum number of nights, etc. These restricted rates are also referred to as fenced. Most of these restricted promotional rates have a combination of several conditions. The most common one is being non-refundable. That means the guest cannot make any changes to the reservation after the time of booking. The reservation cannot be cancelled either, and prepayment is usually required. The corona pandemic changed the perception and acceptance of non-refundable rates as well as the booking lead time. Due to the large number of cancellations during the beginning of the pandemic, most OTAs, travel agencies and hotels decided to be as accommodating as possible so travelers could cancel easily and free of charge. Most travelers stopped booking non-refundable deals. As a result, there were only rates available which could be cancelled free of charge up until the day of arrival. That limited the options of promotional pricing in combination with rate fencing. In other words, the only accepted promotional pricing strategy used to be lowering the rate. This, in combination with low demand, led to extremely low hotel rates. Luckily, this phenomenon is part of the past. Most markets have fully recovered and rates are back to normal or are even exceeding the pre-pandemic levels. However, the urge to book as flexible as possible remains. Hotel openings. In emerging markets in which there is an oversupply of new hotels, we often see the hotels entering the market with shockingly low opening specials. This has often to do with the fact that the date of hotel openings is unpredictable and often pushed back. This is because the opening date depends on so many factors which cannot be influenced. If an opening is delayed for the 5th time in a row and suddenly the hotel team finds out that the opening is going to happen the following week, there is often no other way to generate last-minute business than dumping the rates to a bare minimum. A well-planned hotel opening has an opening special in place which focuses on value adds rather than on low price. The problem with entering a market with very low rates is that it takes months, sometimes years, to increase that rate because the consumer perception is completely blurred by the initial pricing. For example, if we allow company ABC to book at $79 for the first 3 months of operation, how do we expect them to pay $129 for the same product a few months later? Therefore, it makes more sense to offer value adds, such as free parking or free upgrades, rather than managing demand purely through low pricing. In an ideal world, the marketing around the hotel opening was so strong that getting decent occupancy levels shortly after the opening don't depend on rate only. Price dumping. Similar to the above arguments about dumping rates for hotel openings, these arguments also count for general demand generation. It is always good to be careful when it comes to dropping rates too much. First of all, many competitors will just do exactly the same, resulting in an unnecessary price war. Always remember that it is extremely hard to get these prices back up to normal levels in the long run. It is therefore better to plan these low demand periods well in advance so we never need to take the step of price dumping. Also remember that we often don't need to discount as much as we think we have to. The guests are willing to pay a higher rate as long as everything else is right about the offer. For example, good online reviews, perception of value for money, freebies such as free upgrades, etc. During the pandemic, many hotels were forced to dump their rates to extremely low levels. All of a sudden, hotels found themselves in an unknown situation, and often dumping rates were the only way to generate enough revenue to keep the hotel business up and running. Especially smaller independent hotels did not have the chain support to make it through the first unknown phase of the pandemic. Not all countries had governmental support in place, so in order not to go bankrupt and to be able to pay employees, the only way was to dump rates to a bare minimum.